Hi everyone, today we're going to go over how to fill out the FAFSA and some tips and tricks on that. My name is Maria Hamill and I am the Learning Programs Coordinator here at Veterans Upward Bound. If you have any questions or concerns about workshops, feel free to shoot me an email with my email on the screen. So today we're going to go over what is the FAFSA, FAFSA eligibility requirements, creating an FSA ID, and a FAFSA resource for veterans. When it comes to financial aid and the FAFSA, the primary goal is to assist students and families in paying for college. The free application for federal student aid, otherwise known as the FAFSA, and you'll hear me refer to it as the FAFSA throughout this presentation today, is the application that needs to be completed each year if you want to be considered for grants, need-based scholarships, or access to your federal student loans. So what does the FAFSA do for me? Your college uses the FAFSA to determine your federal aid eligibility. So they use this FAFSA form to determine how many scholarships, grants, and loans that you will need to pay for college. So scholarships are free money you do not need to pay back. And scholarships come from schools, employers, private companies, and foundations. Grants are free money you do not need to pay back that comes from the government. An example of a grant is a federal Pell Grant. And loans are money the government has loaned to you to pay for college, and you do need to pay these back. I want to mention that even if you have GI benefits that are covering your tuition, you could still be eligible for grant or scholarship money, and that can be used for additional educational benefits such as buying books or other things that you need for college. So when does the FAFSA open? It is currently open for the 2023-2024 school year, and the deadline to submit your FAFSA for the 2023-2024 school year is May 1st, 2023. So in order to fill out the FAFSA, there are some general eligibility requirements. You want to make sure that you have your name, social security number, and date of birth reported correctly on the FAFSA, because this is how they determine how much financial aid along with some other information that you'll be receiving. Some other general eligibility requirements include being a U.S. citizen or eligible non-citizen, having a valid social security number or alien registration number, having a high school diploma or GED. You must be enrolled or accepted for enrollment into an eligible program of study, such as a degree, certificate, or other recognized credential. You must be making satisfactory academic progress as defined by the school as well. Some things that would make it that you're not eligible to fill out the FAFSA would be having eligibility suspended or terminated due to a drug-related conviction, being in default on a federal student loan, and owe repayment for a federal grant. So if it's the first time filling out the FAFSA, you need to create a federal student aid or FSA ID. Another way to think of the FSA ID is just pretty much like making an account in order to fill out the FAFSA, such as you'd make an account to have an email, or you'd make an account to have a Netflix account. So for the FAFSA completion, you need this FSA ID, and it allows you access to certain U.S. Department of Education websites. And it will be used by students throughout the financial aid process, including subsequent school years. So you will only create the FAFSA one time, you will only create an FSA ID one time, even if you're going to be filling out the FAFSA multiple times. So again, the FSA ID is just like creating an account. So in order to create an account or an FSA ID, you will go to the studentaid.gov website. So we're going to go through as far as we can on how to create an FSA ID. So In order to do that, you need to go to the studentaid.gov website, and I will make sure that this website is included in the email of this workshop. I also want to mention that if you are filling out the FAFSA on any other website other than the studentaid.gov, that could be a scam. So make sure that you're only filling out the FAFSA through the studentaid.gov website. To create a FSA account and to fill out the FAFSA, we're going to go to this first tab here, the FAFSA form, and we're going to click on complete the FAFSA form. But I also want to mention that they have some additional resources if you have additional questions about your filling out the FAFSA, deadlines, how to fill it out. They have additional links here. But we're going to complete a FSA ID. So we're going to click on this link here. When you get here, you're going to click on this, I am a student, I want to access my FAFSA form. So if you've already created a FSA ID, you would log in using that account, but we don't have one yet, so we are going to create an FSA ID. This is just bringing us to another page. So we're going to click on this Get Started link here, but they also have additional information on what you use this FSA ID. We kind of went over what we use the FSA ID for and what you'll need to complete your FSA ID, such as your social security number and your phone number and email address. So it's just going to take you through some prompts on your personal information, such as your name, birth date, social security number. Unfortunately, I can't go through this any farther than here because I personally have an FSA account and I can't make a duplicate account. So as we mentioned before, you create your FSA ID one time only. So make sure that you keep your password somewhere safe that you can access it all of the years that you're going to be submitting your FAFSA. All right. So now that we went through how to create a FSA ID, otherwise known as an account through the federal student aid government, you will then be carrying on to completing the FAFSA form itself. Again, unfortunately, I've already submitted a FAFSA form, so I can't submit another one, and I'm not in school currently, but I can't bring you through that process. But here's some information that will be requested from you for the FAFSA. And I'm just going to go over this quickly because there's a lot of nuances, so feel free to pause the screen here and take a look. But you will need your social security number, your driver's license number, some federal tax information or tax returns, such as your W-2s, if you have a spouse, their W-2s, your records on any untaxed income, records on information in your cash, savings, and checking balances accounts, your investments. So there's a lot of information that they ask in regards to financial information. So it can take some time, so make sure that you put enough time aside to complete the FAFSA when you get there. All right, so let's say that you have put all your information into the FAFSA and you have submitted it to the government. Awesome. So once you have submitted the FAFSA, they will send you a student aid report. The student aid report, otherwise known as SAR, is just like a recap of everything that you put onto the FAFSA form. So they're going to send that to you in your email address, or if you did not include your email address, they'll send that to you in the mail. So once you get your SAR report, you want to make sure you look that over carefully, because if there's any errors on that report that was submitted in your FAFSA, that could be an issue. So make sure that you look that over and make any changes that you need to, if that's necessary. So any of the schools that you listed on the FAFSA when you submitted that, that you want them to receive all the information that you have put on the FAFSA to be able to receive a financial aid package from. They will receive this SAR report. So this is how your school determines how much financial aid package to give you. And just want to note that the school may reach out to you if they have an additional information regarding your FAFSA. So sometimes life does happen, and if there was a change in circumstances between the time that you submitted the FAFSA and the time that you're going to be getting a financial aid package from the school you want to go to, some of these changes in circumstances include loss of a job, divorce or separation, death of a spouse, loss of child support, and excessive medical bills that are not covered by insurance. So these are all things that could affect your ability to pay for school, or how much money that you might need from the government to pay for school. So if any of these things and changes in circumstances do happen to you, make sure to contact the financial aid office at your college that you're going to be attending, and they can review your situation and request any information or any changes in financial aid if necessary. And this document's really great for veterans. It's a resource that you can take a look at when submitting the FAFSA. So on the FAFSA, there are some questions pertaining specifically to veterans, and they can be a little tricky and a little ambiguous in their wording. So Grand Valley has created this document on some suggestions on what you should put down for those questions if you're a veteran. So this document will be included in the email of this workshop. Take a look, and it might be helpful to you when you're submitting the FAFSA. Okay, so we went over a lot of stuff when it comes to the FAFSA, talked a lot of acronyms, so let's break it down on step-by-step of what we went over today. So before I get to the first number here, if it's your first time creating a FAFSA and you need to create a FSA ID account, you will do that before you submit the FAFSA. So we went over that earlier, that you submit the FSA ID and you create an account, and you only do this one time in your entirety of any time you're submitting the FAFSA. So you create an account once. However, you need to submit the FAFSA each year you're going to be going to school. So if you are going to be doing 4 years at a university, you need to submit the FAFSA 4 times. You only create a FAFSA or FSA ID one time, and you would need to submit the FAFSA each year because things change. The date for the upcoming school year to submit the FAFSA is May 1st, 2023. In order to submit the FAFSA on the web, it is going to be at studentaid.gov. After you have submitted the FAFSA, you will receive a student aid report, otherwise known as SAR, and that has everything that you submitted on the FAFSA on there just wrapped up into one document, so you can review it if you need to. After you receive your student aid report, the school that you want your student aid report to go to, they will also receive that report, and they may ask you to submit any documents or supplemental materials to them regarding anything that you had put on the FAFSA. That is why it's important to keep any documents that you use to complete the FAFSA handy, so if they do have any questions about anything in the future, you can access them easily. Number 4, after the school has taken a look at your FAFSA, they'll send you an award notification on how much financial aid they are willing to give you. And number 5, if there's any gaps in financial aid, or if there's things that maybe you didn't receive financial aid for and you would like help getting money with that, this would be your opportunity to research additional financial aid options such as scholarships from outside resources. I wanted to put down here that if you have any questions pertaining to financial aid and scholarships, feel free to reach out to Grand Valley, their financial aid and scholarships department. really great in answering any questions that you might have. You can also reach out to us at Veterans Upward Bound through our email, phone number, website, and we can help direct you to anywhere that you might have questions for regarding financial aid or help you ourselves. Thank you, and I hope this was helpful to you. Have a great day.